Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Onion Soup, the show where we pull back the layers of metaphysics and reality in order to demystify spirituality. And today we have a wonderful guest. We're very excited about this, Mr. Tom Paladino. And Tom uses scalar energy to help heal people of these pathogens, illnesses, diseases. And I just want to dive right into it. Hi, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm well, Dexter. Thank you for the invite.
Awesome. So, just to start off, what is scalar energy?
It's the energy from the sun and the stars. It's the primal energy of the universe. All energy initiates as scalar energy. So I'm going back to the cause, which is this fundament, scalar energy.
Mm.
It's, again, the initial energy of the universe. So I'm working with non physical light. There's no electrons or protons involved. It's not electricity. It
Mm.
really is consciousness when you think of it.
Oh, interesting, interesting. So as a energy, you say that it's primal energy, does this energy show up on the electromagnetic spectrum at all?
It does not. You're comparing apples to oranges. So, if you will, the initial energy is scalar energy. It's a double helix
Huh.
in formation. When that double helix will degrade or converts into electricity or magnetism. So you can have one or the other. So the initial energy, once again, is this double helix, scalar energy.
Oh, okay. So in what ways is that like consciousness?
It's a good point. Scalar energy transcends time and space. Consciousness transcends time and space. Scalar energy is massless. Consciousness is massless. Nothing can impede consciousness. Nothing can impede scalar energy. Scalar energy pervades the universe. Consciousness pervades the universe. Scalar energy is intelligence, divine intelligence.
Mm.
Consciousness is divine intelligence. So when we say scalar energy or consciousness, they're really synonymous terms.
Huh. So when you talk about scalar energy and it being prevalent throughout the universe, so we know that Nikola Tesla was one of the scientists who started doing this research. Does your research have anything to do with what he was doing?
Exactly. He's the first man. Tesla's the first man to ever harness scalar energy. Later in his life, Tesla was no longer working with electricity and magnetism. He actually had a scalar energy tower, Wardenclyffe Tower in Long Island, New York,
Mm.
in which, without any moving parts, he was able to capture with this tower sunlight, starlight, and he was able to broadcast this energy anywhere in the world.
Mm.
That was a scalar energy apparatus. That was a scalar energy tower. It had nothing to do with electricity.
So that's different from the Tesla coil then.
You're right, but I use Tesla coils, which can also amplify a scalar wave. So
Interesting.
a Tesla coil can be used both for electromagnetic energy or scalar energy.
Cool. Well, I know you were going to do a demonstration. Can we go ahead and see that?
Yeah, this instrument is on right now. This is a scalar energy instrument. I'm going to show the audience part of the instrument. I'm going to point to the instrument. Now, this instrument has no moving parts. Why? Because the motion, the kinetic energy is from the sun and the stars. The instrument is now functioning. If I hold up a light bulb in my hand, this light bulb will illuminate when I pass it close to the instrument. So the instrument is able to download energy into the light bulb. So this is an experiment whereby we're showing that scalar energy can illuminate a light bulb. Now the point is it's progress. So I'm going to hold a wooden board, a culinary board. And when I place that culinary board in front of the instrument, I still can illuminate a light bulb if I pass the light bulb close by the instrument. So the wooden board does not prevent the light bulb from illuminating. Now, all of that is an indication of how scalar energy works. Scalar energy is everywhere. Nothing can impede its motion or its progress. So this is the new science of scalar energy. And with these scalar energy instruments, I have the ability to work with people by way of their photograph. I'll explain. When I work with a scalar energy instrument, I only work with photographs. I never work with people. A photograph of a person represents their bilocated version. I can bilocate to my laboratory through my photograph. So in the quantum realm, in the scalar energy realm, we only work with force fields. Again, everything I do is non-physical. I pick up the non-physical signature or the force field on a photograph, and I can experience a chakra bouncing. What do I mean by that? If I place this light bulb close to the instrument, that's the type of light, the white light that enters into my chakras or into my brain waves through my photograph. So it's the new science of scalar science. We don't work with flesh and blood. This is not a physical process, it's a non physical phenomenon in which a photograph receives the energy, not the person. The photograph represents the person.
Hmm. Wow. So I have plenty of questions about that. First of all, when you say bilocation, can you explain what bilocation means?
Yes. In the electromagnetic realm, we're only in one place at one time. We're bound by time and space. In a scalar energy environment, we're no longer subject to Newtonian science. We are afforded the ability to bilocate or multi-locate. So
Mm,
people can multi-locate in the scalar energy realm. If somebody sends me a photograph, they're in two places at once.
mhm,
I never work with people biologically. I work with their photograph energetically.
mm,
So what I have found, what my predecessor, his name is Galen Hieronymus, has found that a person's soul, mind, and body is on their photograph.
mm.
You don't need to travel to my laboratory. You send your photograph in substitution. This is your quantum version, your bilocated version. I can pick up on your energy field on the photograph.
Mm.
I don't work with people, I work with energy fields.
So when you say that you work with the energy fields, is this anything like what a Reiki master would do or someone who controls the flow of chi or prana?
Yes, yes. People with healing hands, they impart healing energy, scalar energy. So the animating force is not the hand, it's the energy coming off the healing hand. Somebody who can pray and heal you through prayer or a positive thinking. A
Mm.
prayer is non physical information. This is non physical information. So we're in the realm of prayer, thought, consciousness. It's all non physical action.
So when you were talking about the chakras and balancing energies, how do you how do you utilize that to heal a particular individual? So what does that look like when they send you the picture?
When people send me the photograph, to be very clear, I don't interpret anything. I
Mm,
literally place a person's photograph inside the instrument for 1 hour, and the chakra bouncing downloads the information, downloads the instructions. Now, again, the energy is so strong it can illuminate a light bulb. That's the identical energy entering into my chakras or my, if you will, my brain waves. So that's one of the functions that I can achieve with the scalar energy instrument to access their mind, to access their state of consciousness.
So if the picture, I just want to get clear. So with the picture, if it's just a upper torso or like a a
It,
headshot, you
and
know the
it,
chakras are throughout the whole body, like the
that
main chakra system.
very
How
good.
would the light know, say, if you had something disrupting your lower chakras?
When somebody sends me a photograph, I, their entire force field is treated from head to toe, so to
Uh,
speak. Their entire energetic force field. The reason I only ask people for a bus shot, some people started taking off their disrobing. That's not necessary. So just send us a bus shot, your face, if you will, because scalar energy recognizes you as a whole,
Mm,
as a cell, as a unit. All we need is one part of your body. Just send your face.
mm. So, what type of ailments do you heal? Do they all have to be physical, maybe psychological?
Here, well, that's a good point. When the chakra balancing helps people with spiritual ailments, psychological ailments. Some people say it lifts their depression. Others say that the photograph will help them overcome uh, addiction to alcohol or recreational drugs. Some people say that the photographic session will help them have a greater outlook on life, more positive outlook. So that is, if you will, mental health, emotional health.
Mm.
And that that really begs the definition of how do people feel. They submit photographs to us and then they follow up with testimonies. So the key to this is people provide us testimonies. Now, to be very clear, nobody has my instrument and nobody's been able to duplicate my results with photographs. So I have to rely upon testimonies of people. That is now the present body of information, the current, if you will, body of scientific information that we're amassing. Testimonies.
So, when you say nobody else has this instrument, that means you built it yourself.
That's correct. It's custom built. Correct. My
So,
my work is unique. Correct.
when you built it yourself, how did that even come about? Like, how did you build it? And you don't have to go into specifics about the device itself, but
The initial inventor's name is Galen Hieronymus. I never met him, but I studied under his wife, Sarah Hieronymus. I was able to work with their laboratory instruments. And thereafter, for years, I, if you will, perfected my technique. I work with a brilliant engineer, and we have recalibrated, if you will, this Hieronymus instrument. This is the latest version, but it is custom built. It is unique. It is quite different than what I was working with back in the 90s when I started to work with this technology. The key is Galen Hieronymus, the initial inventor, gave us the prototype. Therefrom, we have expanded upon this and we've perfected that technique.
so how many people have you worked on approximately?
To give you the audience an idea, today in my lab, I was working with 500,000 photographs.
Wow.
Okay. I work with groups around the world, Christian missionaries, NGOs, non government organizations, a lot of charities, churches, think tanks, if you will. In total, I've probably worked with 100 million people throughout the world.
Oh, wow. How long have you been doing this?
I've become public now for 12 years.
Hmm, interesting. So, when you are out performing this, and you do all of this from your lab, but you don't actually go anywhere to
Correct.
do anything, correct? So, when you're performing this, what type of, I would pause it like to say, you get from, I guess, the rest of the world or communities?
Yeah, yeah. We always need feedback. That's the key. Why? Because I'm not there and they're not in my laboratory. So this is the new science where we have to rely upon word of mouth. We have to rely upon testimonies. Nobody can prove that this instrument can produce a favorable effect 1,000 miles away.
Mhm.
But here's an example. I'm going to hold up a photograph from a clinic. This is an HIV/AIDS clinic in Delhi, India, Om Prakash. Om Prakash Clinic of people living with HIV/AIDS. This is some of the people who at one time were HIV positive. Now, after working with this group, nobody has a viral load for HIV. Now, I've never been to India. Okay? I don't know these people by name. I certainly haven't diagnosed their problem because this is not a medical intervention.
Mhm.
But by placing their photograph inside the instrument, I can, if you will, download the intelligence of the HIV virus into people. I download the intelligence of HIV into the quantum field of people. And if I can find the HIV signature or intelligence in people, I can bring to a state of chaos the HIV signature. And in so doing, after I
Mhm.
bring to a state of chaos the HIV virus, people report that they no longer have a viral load.
How long does it usually take for someone to start feeling the effects of this?
Usually, when it's HIV, within the first month or two, they feel better. They start gaining weight, and they a lot of their symptoms for HIV disappear.
Wow.
Thereafter, I'd say within 5 or 6 months, many people have a follow-up PCR test. Most of those PCR tests are negligible or show no viral load whatsoever for HIV.
Wow. Do you think this has anything to do with quantum entanglement and how when particles are entangled, if you
Yeah,
affect one particle in one location, it affects the other?
precisely. That science, I believe that theory is true and accurate. Now, if people can send me their force field by way of a photograph,
Mhm.
obviously the person's not in my laboratory, but quantum entangled is their force field or their energy field. Call
Mhm.
it quantum entanglement, call it a bilocated version, call it some type of action at a distance, call it what you will. All of this shows that we're in a new branch of physics
Mhm.
and that there is validity to this new branch of physics.
All right. Very fascinating. So we're actually going to take a really quick. Welcome back, everyone. So we left off with this being a new branch of quantum physics, and
Mhm.
one thing that I would like to point out is to the audience when we talk about the quantum realm and quantum realities, a lot of it isn't explored very well. We're just getting into it, so there's a lot that we don't know. So when we look at things such as like the quantum vacuum theory, like there are particles that literally pop in and out of existence, and
Yes.
I'm wondering if any of those particles perhaps you're healing something on the particle out of existence, they pop back into existence onto the patient.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. So if this is energy and this energy instructs the universe, this energy should be able to create a particle for for and sustain that particle. But once you dissipate the energy, that particle, that mass dissipates or breaks down back into ether.
Mhm,
Now, this gives notion to many of the notions of quarks. Quarks are what? Short lived physical bodies or some type of particle in quantum physics. And what gives rise to that? Well, some type of intelligence. And why is it short lived? Because the scalar energy force field is negated. You need a scalar energy force field to assemble a molecular form, an atomic form. Once you negate that molecular intelligence, the molecule breaks apart, the atom breaks apart, the quark breaks apart. So, scalar energy is a cohesive force that will create this physical form and maintain it. Once you undo that cohesive force, a quark falls apart, an atom falls apart, a molecule falls apart.
hmm. So when the molecule starts to fall apart and you reform and you start to reform it with this energy, does that mean that it reforms better? I guess this will also be saying that when a
Yeah.
person is in a diseased state, that that same particle that we broke apart in the first place already has some type of mutations or something going on with it. So you're breaking it apart in order to recreate it stronger?
You can. I'm going to give the audience a for instance. I can create glutathione or any type of micronutrient. How? I take a photograph of glutathione and I match it up to my photograph. Now, once again, with this instrument, we're downloading the energy, the intelligence of glutathione into me. So, by virtue of the fact that there's intelligence instructions of glutathione that I can download into me, I can actually assemble glutathione. Now, if
Hmm,
you can do that with a micronutrient, you should be able to do that with an element, an atom. You should be able to do that with a quark or any of these short-lived particles. Scalar energy is the cohesive force
hmm.
that will maintain any molecular form or any form of an atomic form, if you will.
Interesting. So, are there any other bioenergetic therapies that you can do with this technology?
Not per se with this type of instrument, because my instrument is unique. Now, I can't speak for others, but sadly, the work that I have, if you will, followed up with Dr. Hieronymus, Galen Hieronymus, the inventor, nobody has followed up his work. Nobody. Back in the 90s when I started to work with the Hieronymus family, there were other practitioners. Now they're deceased, they're gone. I'm the only one that survives. So, specific to what I'm doing, this is a unique instrument, and nobody's following in my footsteps.
Why do you think no one's followed up on the work?
I can't figure it out. There's such promise here. I don't know. Maybe they just don't have that spiritual gift to see where this is going.
Fair enough. I would agree with you because I feel that we know that energy healing works. We know that Reiki works, meditation works, prayer works, and we know that we can pull particles and look at them in different under a different lens, different vibrations, and utilize those varying levels of vibrational energies for healing. But
Yes.
one of the other questions I had about scalar energy before we get too far gone is when individuals are utilizing not just photographs, but think Carillion photography that takes pictures of
Mhm.
our auras and things like that. Can scalar energy affect the auric field the same way that Carillion photography can photograph it?
Yes, yes. Now, this is the realm that we're speaking of. This is not the electromagnetic realm. When we speak of the aura, that's the scalar energy realm. Everybody has an aura, or if you will, a spirit body. The spirit body is non physical, it's the energetic body. And it's not electricity, it's a scalar energy body. So, to be very clear, when we're working in this realm, this is an angelic realm, non physical, divine realm. It supersedes time and space. It's the aura, it's the spirit. There's quite a distinction between the aura and electricity.
When you say the angelic realm, divine realms, are these realms that are above ours, or are they like a different vibrational
They're,
frequency? What does that mean?
yeah, they're a different dimension. Let's just say it's a different dimension, it's a different reality. Now, picture this: scalar energy is a double helix,
Mhm.
and it's a different dimension. When scalar energy degrades into electricity and magnetism, that double helix breaks down, and one of the components becomes electricity and the other one becomes magnetism. So if this is a scalar wave, it's a rotating double helix. Break down that double helix and you have electricity and magnetism
Hmm.
that work, that move on a perpendicular fashion.
You have electricity and magnetism that are different. So they're basically two sides of the same coin.
Yes, yes, they are. And the superior dimension is scalar, which is non-physical. Once you enter into electromagnetic dimension, it's still energy, but it's a downgraded form of energy, and that's the physical component.
So is that almost like how a particle is a wave and a wave is a particle? It just depends on how you're
Yes,
looking at it.
yeah, exactly.
Is that-
Now you understand. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, it's all a matter of interpretation. Why? It's consciousness,
Right.
because your consciousness, your interpretation can affect reality. It's a prayer. Prayer can affect reality. Positive thinking can affect reality. Scalar energy can what? Change reality.
Mhm.
Thank you.
100%. I have loved it. So we only have a few minutes left. Is there anything that you want to leave with the audience before we head out?
Yeah, your mind produces scalar waves. Your heart, your emotions produce scalar waves. Now, this is why a thought transcends time and space. This is why your feelings transcend time and space. God has given everybody scalar vessels, your mind and your heart. Use your mind and your heart appropriately. They are scalar tools.
Hmm. There's literally 60 seconds left, and I have one more question.
Yeah.
So, are you familiar with the Heart Math Institute? Like, does
Yeah,
this have anything to do with the research that they're doing over there on how the mind and the heart can interact with the world around you?
yeah, I've read a little bit about that. The heart and the mind coordinate with one another. They're always communicating with one another. So it's a coordinated whole. Scalar, you can't divide scalar energy up. It's just one universal whole. That's a
Right.
good point.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for being on. This has been wonderful. I would love to have you back on again just to talk more about it and delve a little bit deeper into the technology and the work that you're doing to heal others.
Thanks, Dexter. I appreciate your time.
Thank you and have a great one.